Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drewling Samantics.
Hello.
There he is. How are you, mate? All right.
I was in need of a slurp there. Yes, very well. How you doing, buddy? All right?
Weird phrase. What Drew means for anyone not watching is that he needed a slurp of coffee.
Coffee.
That could be interpreted in many different ways.
Anyway.
Let's not descend to horrendous levels this early on.
Not yet. Not yet.
But, are you surviving the weather, mate? It's fucking horrible down here.
Well, we've had a little bit of sunshine, and then it's sort of like, monsoon time. It's like, what is going on?
I've been down on the coast a lot with work and other things.
Yeah.
And Dorset and Cornwall are basically underwater. It's insane. Like the amount of flooding everywhere. So, and there's an irony to that, because haven't Kent just had a problem with water supply? So they basically had no water, and Dorset in I was going to say in spades. That's not really, but by the bucket load. That's a bit more relevant.
They are by the bucket load. Yeah, I don't know who is deciding this. Who is pulling? Who is deciding the weather and whatnot? I just do not know.
No, well, neither of us are. People are probably well aware. Neither of us are particularly religious. But if there is some big geezer up there who's pulling the strings, then I think perhaps a little bit of nice weather might be well welcomed. If you don't mind sorting us out, mate.
That would be lovely. It would be well appreciated. But I now, we love a segue on this podcast.
Whose segue? Have I done an accidental segue?
You've done an accidental segue, yes, because we have a guest this morning, don't we?
We do.
Who knows all about pulling the strings, don't they?
Yeah. No, that's not bad at all. Yeah,
we slipped into that.
Obviously, it was deliberate, mate.
No, there was nothing planned there at all, Sam. Goodness Lord, us plan? That would be ridiculous.
No, exactly. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we will keep you waiting no longer. So, in fact, rather than explaining the pulling the strings reference, shall we just bring our lovely guest in and get her to explain all about why that?
Let's go for it, Sam. Let's do it.
Brilliant segue. It's mine saying so myself. Yeah. Anyway, without further ado, here comes the latest Drewling Samantics guest. And good morning to the lovely, lovely Miss Kim Scopes, who is joining us all the way from, well, actually, you're not that far away, you're just down the road. But to make life easier, we've jumped on Zoom. We really need to do some in-person stuff, Drew. I'm going off on a tangent. This isn't about that. We'll come back to where we're supposed to be. Kim's here, everyone. Look, hi, Kim.
Hello.
Hi, Kim.
Hi, good morning. How are you guys?
We're good. That happens all the time, Kim. That may well happen through the our chat here, that Sam will have a little wander off down Dunning Avenue, and we don't know when he'll be back. So,
yeah. I mean, to be fair, you'd spent the best part of 2 and a bit months with me. So,
in a basement room.
Yeah.
That was
that makes it sound even weirder.
Now you're going to have to explain that. Yeah,
it was.
That sounds like a hostage situation, Kim.
But which way round, Drew?
Exactly, that was my next question, Drew.
Yeah.
Which way round? Depends on the day, really.
Okay.
So we've hit all possible targets we could possibly in this one. I've gone off on a wander. We've said something really creepy and weird. We're managing a standard episode. So before we get into why we're in a basement together for 2.5 months and other such weird and wonderful things, Kim, can you please explain to all our lovely listeners and watchers exactly who you are and what you do?
Hello, my name is Kim. I am and have been for the past... I just watched Traitors last night, so I nearly went, I have been, and always have been. I am a puppeteer and a theatre maker and an actor. I have been for the past 14 years. I mostly do puppetry, especially for commercials, television, and large-scale puppets for theatre. I have occasionally made my own solo show. I haven't for a while, and I'm pondering with making another one soon. But I have also started performing in cabaret. So I've started doing some cabaret acts. Yes. What else do you need to know? I'm never good at these
That's
introduction
it. Thanks
things.
everyone for tuning in.
That's
We'll
so
see you
perfect.
next week. Bye. No.
Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah. I mean, a multitude of talents and strings to your bow. Primarily, we know each other through your puppetry, working on an immersive Christmas event together where you were doing some puppeteering and I was strutting around with a weird moustache and lots of hair that was not necessarily conducive to the outdoors. The two.
The cold weather, no.
But yeah, we will obviously come to Neverland and why we were working alongside each other there. But so puppetry, something you'd always wanted to do, or something you fell into, or a combination of the two somehow.
Completely fell into it by accident. I went to drama school. I went to S15. Well, actually, before that, I went to the University of Salford, and I thought I was going to be a performance artist. So I went down the whole performance art, devised theatre, experimental theatre route. And then once I finished my degree, I thought, nah, fuck that. I'm going to go to drama school because that'll be easy. And then went to S15 for the master's degree back in 2010. And then, no, I never really thought about puppetry. I loved puppets growing up. I was a massive fan of the Muppets. And apparently when I was really small, I used to make puppet shows because my parents bought me little, kid marionettes. But I didn't remember that. But when I finished at S15, I fell very quickly into children's theatre. And the company I was working with, who are no longer around, they used a lot of puppets in their shows. And I just kind of really fell in love with it and didn't realise that it was not a skill that I had, but something I definitely had an inclination towards, I guess. And it was the time that Warhorse was first kind of hitting the stage in the National Theatre, so puppetry was kind of exploding. And a few friends ended up in the show, very good for them. And after the children's theatre tours, several of them, by the end of the tour, I was running the puppetry workshops for the schools and the theatres that we were going to, which was really fun, actually, and I really enjoyed. And then straight after that, I got a role in a puppetry show called Boris and Sergei's Vaudevillian Adventure, which went to Edinburgh Fringe in 2012. And it was basically a late night cabaret puppetry, comedy show that was improvised with 2 leathery bunraku puppets and 6 of us on stage. And the show did really well. We sold out for the entire month.
Wow.
And it made quite a impact, I think, on the puppetry community and also just the fringe theatre circuit. And was just really great fun. I've, still got friends for life from that show. And then suddenly everyone just went, "Oh, you're a puppeteer now," including my agent. They're like, "Oh, yeah, that's what you do now. You're a puppeteer." I was like, "Oh, I guess I am." And, puppeteers are quite chilled out, easygoing people, as Sam knows, because, he's worked with a few over Christmas.
Yeah.
And then after that show, I somehow ended up in working on my first TV series, a series called Strange Hill High. On the second series of that, because a friend of mine was filming on it, couldn't do the second series, and literally went, "Do you want to audition?" And again, made friends for life on that show, who I worked with very recently for a commercial I did in October in Prague. But yeah, it just kind of flipped almost. I want to say overnight, but it wasn't overnight. It was over the period of 2 years. And I still do act occasionally. Last year, I was in a show called At Last with Proforza Theatre in the Lion and Unicorn, which was very nice to act again, to be honest. But yeah, I fell into puppetry completely, and I really enjoy it. It's taken me all over the world, and I've got some friends for life from it, and have done some strange things, and I'm very grateful to it for that.
You talk about, those in the know there are so many different styles of puppetry, and we see, we see the glove puppets, marionettes, etc. Do you work across sort of all those disciplines? Or is there
quite a few, but not all. I don't do marionettes. Marionettes is a whole different skill set, and I have so much respect for marionettists because it looks impossible to me, and when I have tried it, it is impossible. So I don't know how they do it. Bori, a friend of ours, Sam, is a marionettist, so I've been meaning to go and annoy her for a little while. But no, I specialize in what we call bunraku, which is a Japanese form of puppetry, which is 3 people on 1 puppet. Boris and Sergei were bunraku puppets. Quite a few of the puppets I've worked on are similar, including for a company I work for quite a lot called Twice Shy. But I also do a lot of rod and well, we call it's actually the glove puppets. The Muppet style is actually called clap mouth because you clap for the mouth, and it
Right.
sounds disgusting, and I'm sticking with it. So I specialize in that. Also, rod puppetry for TV. So where the rods come from underneath the puppet, and you're underneath the camera, basically, like controlling from underneath the screen. But recently I did a world tour of a show called Dinosaur World Live, which is a huge dinosaur children's theatre show. It's very cute. It's a really sweet show. And we went to China and Australia for that. But that would be called harness puppetry, where you're literally inside the puppet strapped in a harness, very similar to Warhorse.
Right.
We
Yeah,
know
so
a
it's
bit
kind of
about we know a bit about dinosaurs because we had the lovely Tom on a couple of seasons back, who was in
yeah,
Warhorse
lovely
and
Tom
was
Quinn.
he
Yes,
was
Yeah.
producer, I think, on Dinosaurs Live, if I remember
he
right.
was a puppeteer when last time I heard. He might have moved on into I think
Yeah,
assistant directing as well.
yeah, doing a
I'm
bit of
not entirely
everything.
sure. That man's a mystery. He's an enigma in himself.
He is annoyingly talented and
Hi,
really
Tom.
lovely as well.
Um,
But yeah, so a whole sort of different range. I mean, it's probably difficult question to answer, but do you have a favourite? Not necessarily what you specialise in, but one that you get more enjoyment from, or is it the variety of it that's kind of the enjoyable part
I
of it?
think it's the variety. I really enjoy. I think that's why I love so much. Why I do so much because if I was doing the same style of puppetry day in day out for the rest of my life, I think I'd be very bored. Just as if I was just acting, I'd be very bored or whatever else. So I do enjoy it. Sometimes I think it's quite satisfying to have done like a very heavy harness, physical show. Sometimes it's really enjoyable just to kind of get stuck in into that. Sometimes it's really nice to do something like we did together, Sam, the Neverland Light Trail, where I was puppeteering a large lantern dog that was literally strapped to me. Is I enjoy them all for different reasons. So yeah, it's what mood takes me, and also that it's a short-term job, so I try to make the most of it while I have it.
It's wonderful because I was just thinking you were describing the different roles. I mean, actors become out of necessity and sometimes wish we get typecast, and you think, well,
Yeah.
and a lot of things like determine that age, body shape, ability, whatever. But I mean, the wonderful thing is you're never going to be typecast because all those wonderful different characters and puppets that you can inhabit and bring to life. There's a whole. It's never ending, really, is it?
Yeah, I've never thought of it like that, to be honest. I guess sometimes I get associated with certain styles of puppetry, but not in a sense of being typecast. It's really nice
Yeah.
that, I've puppeteered all sorts of characters, regardless of gender or species.
Sure.
Yeah, that is what part of the really enjoyable thing. And also there's a variety in each puppet. I don't know, the feeling of it changes because every puppet is so different with how many people puppeteer it. So Bunraku has 3 people on it. I've puppeteered on some puppets that have 5, 6 people on it, or some that are just me. And even the mix of how many different people are on it and who those people are kind of make it feel so varied. So even if you can, if you're working with someone and they're in a different mood today, you can pick up on it because of the puppetry they're doing. So it affects the whole performance that you're doing and everything.
And if you were to swap out one of those operators, would that then change the character
totally.
of the puppet?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's got their own tempo and everyone's got their own. I tend to think of it as a frequency, but I'm not a wanker. But everyone's got their own, everyone's vibrating at a different point. So when you're especially in proximity with that person and you're working so closely, you do really pick up on their little differences, even if they deliver the lines differently or, I don't know, breathe differently, because a lot of puppetry, when you connect with another puppeteer, it's non-verbal. So we can't obviously talk while we're performing. It has to be through peripheral vision and breath cues, or even just knowing what that person is prone to do within a certain situation. It really changes the whole performance and it's really enjoyable. So sometimes it's a treat to get someone completely new in a puppet because you've got no idea what's going to happen. Sometimes you're like, oh God, what's going to happen? Because this puppet's 80 kilograms and we need to know what this person's going to do. So swapping even one person out or one person having, I don't know, being a bit more playful one day, really can affect everything. Or, you get the giggles inside a puppet, which happens all the time. It means every day is different. Even though you're going through the same motions or some of the same motions, it feels completely different, which is really nice. I do really enjoy that, actually.
I guess you've got that element as well of camaraderie and the sort of the trust element you have to have on a puppet that's being operated by more than one person. It's
absolutely
being in sync, as you say, being on the same frequency at certain times and being able to communicate non-verbally. But equally, it's trusting that person is going to do the right thing or is going to take a lead or whatever happens to be the moment. But you're in that world where you have to be as one, if not anything, but from the audience perspective. Because the minute that doesn't sort of gel, you've got, well, there's two people working one thing or three people, whatever. It's got to always appear as one to the end user.
Exactly. Yeah, there is always puppeteers bond quite quickly because of the nature of what we do. Like if you're on a multi-person puppet, you're literally in each other's armpits because it's never designed for comfort. It's always designed for efficiency and performance. So you usually end up like, rubbed up against someone like this for however many shows a day. So you get close pretty quickly, or at least you tolerate each other pretty quickly. But yeah, the trust thing definitely is something I've thought about before, especially if you're working on a heavier puppet. Obviously, the rehearsal is very key, and the communication is key before you start performing. If I do this, it means this is going to happen, or if I'm stuck, they'll give you this signal. But then in the end, you do have to trust that person has your back, really. Like especially if something gets stuck. Obviously things go wrong all the time. Things might slightly break or bend, or you might get muddled up or not know what. You might forget a cue or something. You need to know that you can rely on the people around you to help you out or be there or communicate if they need help. Especially if it is a heavy puppet, because that can actually potentially get really dangerous really quickly. And that's how injuries can happen. Even with lighter puppets, it's still a physical job. Injuries could happen, or puppets could break. So there are varying different stakes obviously at play. I'd much rather a puppet break than someone get injured. But you do very quickly have to kind of just surrender to the process and trust, and then if something goes wrong, talk about it later or fix it in the moment. I hope that answered the question. I kind of went on a ramble there. Sorry, I blacked out for a second.
That's perfect. No, I've as Sam knows, I've sort of had wrong phrasing, but I've sort of rubbed up and been in touch with puppets off and on with different jobs. I work for Polka.
Lovely Polka, yes.
So I worked for Polka and on a show called Little Arrow Meets the Grizzlies, and we had various puppets to work with. I played Little Arrow, so I was talking to and interacting with them, but just occasionally I would be past a small bear that was, or a wolf cub or something like that.
Yeah.
And I did a wonderful show in Manchester Library Theatre many years ago, Puss in Boots, and we had a messenger bird. And he just lived on my arm. He was built round me. The rods were all built for me and everything. And I was all in black. And it was great because I just realised after a while, no one is looking at me. A, I'm all in black. They can't see me. But B, they're just, and I've carried on when I've done, and this is Sam knows again, and people, regular listeners and viewers know, Verona and I've got a little puppet theatre that we work with, little booth that we do shows with. And our half-term show coming up, Hansel and Gretel, I've written in some little puppets. The Witch of the Woods has a multicoloured caterpillar stole around her, who
lovely.
He takes over, and she goes, you do the stuff, So he becomes, although he looks beautiful and jolly, he's a little shit. And we got owls and rabbits and crows and things. But it's great because, you think, it's an opportunity to take the show and give it a different look, a different element. I'm having great fun writing that, and I think this is going to work, and even though it's going to sit there, I know that crow. I'm doing it now, clapping. See, I'm using that.
Told you,
clap. But he's going to be there, and I know that I'm going to be talking to him, and he's just going to be crowing because that's all he does. But I know they're not going to look at me at all, and it's great because you think. It's do
really
it
nice. Like sometimes it is lovely just to go, you're not going to, no one needs to worry about this.
No one needs to worry. Yeah. It's good,
Yeah, and it's also like it's not the thing I like about puppetry as well, that it's not about you. It's about something else. Like it's about, either it's something greater than the amount of people working on it, or it just removes all the sense of ego and, what's the word? Pressure. It just takes the pressure off. Like the puppet does half the work for you even before you've picked it up, because they're inherently so interesting to look at, and they draw the eye no matter what age you are. And as I mentioned to you guys before the recording, I do a lot of cabaret puppetry, and there is something so nice about turning up for a late night cabaret gig and literally putting on a black hood and be like, ready. I don't need to worry about the makeup. I don't need to glitter, hair. Obviously, all the other performers look stunning and beautiful, and spend so much time on their face and everything. And I literally turn up. I also do a cabaret show where I'm a ghost, and I have a white sheet I throw over my head because I'm a ghost with a bed sheet. I'm like, great, ready. And everyone hates me, but it just takes the pressure off. And it's the same with puppetry. Like, I just get to go, I'm ready. Like, I don't need that stuff is wonderful, and it's definitely got its place. But it just takes the pressure off. I don't know. It's something I feel with acting, and I'm an actor sometimes, and a lot of my friends are actors and stuff. But it just seems there's so much pressure with the ego, and everything's so personal. Like if I don't get a job, it's because I'm wrong, or like I'm not the right fit for it. Whereas if you don't get the puppetry job, it might be your height, stuff that you can't control, or they know that person. So it just kind of removes it a little bit as well, which I just think is a really nice. It just means you can chill out more, I think.
Yeah.
So basically, what we've established there is that puppetry is just the lazy way out for you. You don't have to worry about how you look.
I don't brush my hair sometimes, Sam. Like everyone's like doesn't care. And also, if I'm underneath the set, gosh, you get so like dusty and you're covered in fake snow or whatever else you're filming with. So there is no point washing. No, I wash
ever.
Like it just it's not the lazy way out, because I lift a lot of weight for a living, but it's a different focus, and it just takes you stop being so self-absorbed, which I think is really refreshing for me.
No, of course I was being facetious, but
I know
you mentioned their fake snow. I'm going to use that as a segue. Because I'm guessing that's mostly in reference, or not totally, because you may have done other stuff, but you mentioned the advert you did in Prague. Am I on the right lines there for fake snow? Yes, you are. Yes, it was a Christmas advert. Do you want to explain this to people, because it is fairly surreal?
So in October, before we started working together, I went to Prague for 10 days and I filmed a commercial that came out over Christmas for the iPhone 17. It was called A Critter Carol, and it was all these woodland creatures who were singing a song from A Flight of the Conchords. Lots of fake snow. They literally picked up some forest from the middle of Prague. They put it in a studio, and then they filled it full of snakes. Like we had to wear masks, goggles, everything, blue suits. And we filmed this lovely little commercial. I've been told I'm allowed to talk about it now, which is a relief. So my NDA doesn't get come back to bite me. But it was great fun. We had a great time on it. And usually with the filming of puppetry stuff, you get messy because people like to throw stuff. They like to throw stuff at the puppet. Like, wouldn't it be funny if it was covered in straw? Wouldn't it be funny if it was covered in sand? And then they use like tapioca instead of sand because it's more colourful, and so you end up covered in a paste. The snow goes everywhere. Wood chips. There were also bugs on that set because obviously they literally transplanted the forest. We found little spiders and beetles crawling around in it, so we'd be lying down behind a log with a puppet and be a beetle next to us, like, oh, great.
that commercial still, I think, is available. It's not now on TV anymore, but it's still available online, isn't it? I think.
I think it's still on YouTube, and they also released a really nice behind the scenes making of as well, which we all make an appearance in, which is really sweet.
Nice. People should go and check it out, if not just to see the. I was going to say mangy. That's probably a bit mean, but some of the creatures are really quite.
Oh yeah, they're meant to though. They're meant to look like they've had a hard life, and
Yeah, they're not the polished sort of Sesame Street, very kind of prim and proper. They are grungy little puppets, but they're brilliant, and the characters.
They're beautiful puppets. They were made by a UK puppet maker who's called by Puppet Magic Studio. They're actually based in Bethnal Green. They're an amazing puppet making company. and I've worked with their puppets quite a lot. So as soon as I heard they were involved, I was really relieved because I knew they'd be good puppets and also they would be stunning. But yeah, the choice was to mess them up a bit because obviously woodland creatures don't have an easy life. They didn't want it to be this very polished, perfect thing. It wanted to be lived in and, a huge departure from AI,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
Such a nice. You talk about the various puppets and loving the puppet. Do you have a favourite puppet that you worked with or work with?
Oh, good question. When I did Boris and Sergey, whenever I got to puppeteer on Boris, that was always a joy because he was very much like the clown, like the idiot clown kind of character. He's very sweet little guy. He's leathery with no face and he's got rabbit fur for a belly, so he's not exactly a sweet creature. But the character was always very sweet and very innocent, and sometimes we put on a pretty little dress and dance to Kate Bush. So that was always like my favourite. But in terms of other puppets, no, I like them all. There are some days where they definitely can fuck off, if something's not going right or if they're heavy. Or if they're wet.
Are you perhaps leaning into the next section we should discuss regarding
what
a puppet that's heavy and wet and can fuck off at times?
Oh, you mean the Neverland puppets? No, they can't fuck off because Alison Diddle and Johnny Quick are too lovely. But yes, we worked together on Neverland. Very different jobs we had.
Yes. Yeah.
Very different.
You got to obviously still out in the open, but because as we've mentioned a few times, there are a lot of times where you really don't want to draw attention to yourself. You want to blend into the background. So you were wrapped up in black, nice thick sort of waterproof trousers, big thick coat.
Oh,
hat,
invested
scarf.
so much money in those trousers and they were a godsend. Oh my God.
Whereas I was out there in a red velvet coat, a massive wig, a big tricorn hat. Slightly...
Basically very absorbent material you were wearing. Very absorbent.
If you're outside in the rain, probably isn't what you want to be wearing. But there we go. So we were on Neverland together at Kenwood House in North London. I obviously was playing Captain Hook, where I stood by a big pirate ship and just sort of berated people, families, children as they went past. You, however, had a far nicer sort of interaction in that sense, where you were performing as Nana the dog.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about
Yes, we had
Nana.
a lovely, beautiful lantern puppet for Nana. And these lantern puppets were made by Alison Duddle and Johnny Quick, and they are brilliant puppet makers. And they're huge, they're basically... Nana the dog in the books was a Newfoundland. She wasn't a St. Bernard, so they based the puppet on a Newfoundland. But most people still called her Beethoven anyway. Yeah. When they were like, "Where's Beethoven?" Yeah, okay. Oh. And she was strapped to us, and we had these battery packs on top so they could plug in, and she literally glowed. And she was very, very beautiful. Wow. And we were further along, earlier on in the trail, so the children and the families would encounter us as they're heading down towards the Kensington Garden area. Was that what it was called with all the flowers, Sam?
I remember something like that, yeah.
Yeah, the Kensington Garden, before they went to Neverland, basically. And our job was basically just to play with the audience, which was really fun because I just spent most of my time picking on people. My favourite thing to do is if someone was on the phone making a phone call, I'd just bark really loudly.
So when I was saying better interactions, absolutely not. You were just...
No, absolutely. I was there to annoy people. I was absolutely there to annoy people. And obviously there were some really touching, beautiful moments where people were really invested in the character and the puppet and were blown away. And it was really nice because you got to kind of read people what they needed. Some obviously needed a very gentle, slow interaction. Some needed something really boisterous and, naughty. And some really weren't sure what they were looking at and would kind of stop and stare for ages until you get to the point where you're like, yes, can I help you?
What do you need?
What would you require? My repertoire is done. Yeah, and it was really mixed. Yeah, I mean, also the mood of the audience every day. I don't know if you got this, Sam. The mood would be very different every day. Some people would come and it'd be really lovely, bubbly night. Everyone would be in a really good mood, and sometimes everyone would be quite quiet, reserved. Or I think there was one night where everyone seemed a bit stressed out. It must have been Christmas Eve because Christmas Eve.
Yes.
And that really reflected in the interactions that we got. It was me, it was Brian Itaba and Bori Mezzo, who were all the puppeteers. And every night we'd all check in and be like, God, they were really happy tonight, or oh God, they were really quiet, they wouldn't come near us. We also got a lot of dogs on the trail. So a lot of dogs. Dogs don't know what to make of puppets usually, and if it's a dog that's glowing, they don't tend to like it.
Yes. Yeah.
Got barked at a lot, but most people were really good about that. Yeah, it was a really interesting experience. I don't think I've never actually done a job like that, Sam. I mean, I know you've done quite a lot of the interactive trail stuff before, especially with Rusticus.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it, but it was very cold.
Well, yes, yeah, cold and
Luckily,
wet.
our puppet was so heavy, we were warm. We were sweating. That was the problem we had.
Yeah.
We'd come back and we'd be boiling hot. Like, oh my gosh, we're so warm. And Sam would be like, that's nice. I'm freezing.
Yeah. But it was all worth it, and we got to have this incredible experience. And yeah, I think from an audience point of view as well, it could have been just a few different actors dotted around, but to have that different levels and different kind of experience and different nature of the interactions, I think was a big plus. And all we heard was incredible feedback on the puppet, and you guys did a fabulous job. So, but
it was great. Yeah,
I mean, it was an absolute pleasure working alongside. I know we didn't get to interact a great deal, but certainly we got to have the odd chat in our basement, which just
in our basement. This is where the basement comes
into
it. The green room was a basement. The green room was a basement next to a bat cave or like a bat habitat, wasn't it? Did you see that? Yeah,
incredible. We weren't allowed to go in because it's like a very protected area, but yeah, they had bats roosting in a room next to a place where we stored puppets and pirate hats. So I mean, and for anyone that says that the world of theatre is boring or predictable, there you go. Don't think you saw that one.
Spend a week with us, yeah.
But, it was an absolute pleasure working with you, Kate, and it's been an absolute pleasure catching up and chatting today. We know how super busy you are, because, and I'm going to get you to mention it now, you've actually got something coming up which you're still writing. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes. So on Friday the 13th. I'm going to be performing a hopefully new cabaret act at Coffee and Cabaret, which is a new cabaret night at Mabel's in Penge. It's a lovely little coffee shop and cafe, and they've started putting on events in the evening. My lovely friend Ellie works there, and yeah, I thought it was a chance to try and make something new and get it in front of people. I need to finish it. I will finish it by the time this goes out.
Yes.
Hopefully. Yeah. Yeah, I'm super excited for it. Like I said, I've started doing some cabaret skits now and then because it kind of felt like my home after starting puppetry and cabaret, then going back to cabaret has always been really nice. But yes, so I need to go and finish writing that thing.
Yeah. Well, we will let you crack on with that. But before you go, the world of puppetry must be super unpredictable, and there must be amazing stories and experiences. Can you leave us and our audience with an anecdote, a story, something crazy, something funny, okay. a little tale just to sort of bid farewell with? Have you got
if we've got time for it. I once got a secret Santa present from Jim Broadbent.
What the actual fuck?
Whoa.
Right. So gosh, in 2016, I was in A Christmas Carol on the West End at the Noel Cowards with Jim Broadbent. It was rewritten by Patrick Barlow, and of course those two were on National Theatre of Brent together years and years and years ago. So it was it was show. Very much a dream come true because I love old comedy like that. And it was obviously a Christmas show. He played Scrooge. I was part of the ensemble, and I was also puppeteering Tiny Tim. And as well as, the Ghosts of Christmas Present, Future and Past, etc., etc. And we had, on Christmas Eve, we did a Secret Santa, all the cast. And also, it was also with the lovely Amelia Bullmore and Sam Spiro and Idil Akhtar, who's obviously gone to do brilliant things. And Keir Charles as well, and Jack Parker, my fellow puppeteer, who's lovely. Yeah. But on Christmas Eve, we did a Secret Santa, and everyone took part. And everybody, we all kind of sat around on the stage with the Christmas trees. And everyone got, really nice bottles of champagne or candles or scarves. And then at the very end, I was guessed mine was last. I opened mine, and it was one of these hideous little blue, like, raccoon bear things, that you get them in like the tourist shops around London with the big glittery eyes, and they're like super fluffy and look really terrified.
Yeah.
And of course, I didn't know who got it for me, so I was like, "Oh, thank you. This is nice." And Jim came up to me after the half before we had to get ready, and he was like, "Oh, that's shit, isn't it?" And I was like, Was it you? He was like, yeah, I'm so sorry, I panicked. The costume lady told me to get something that you make you laugh. I was like, oh. And I've still got it. I've got it somewhere. It's in my new place because I'm in the process of moving, but I'm going to keep that for life. I'll call him Little Jim.
Wow.
But yeah, he was a sweetie. He was always very naughty on stage as well. He'd never behave. He used to stand on our toes if he was bored on stage. He used to just step on your feet. Bless him. What a legend.
Well, a proper sort of national treasure, and to hear
Absolute
that he's
treasure.
as playful and silly and naughty and whatever in real life.
He loved a prank.
Oh.
Yeah, he once made me walk into a door that was closed by mistake. He was too busy making fun of me, and I was too busy laughing, and I didn't see the door come up, and I walked into a door on stage in front of people. Yeah, it was great.
Well, what a story. What a brilliant story.
Fabulous.
Thank you so much for sharing it. And again, Kim, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure we'll get a chance to catch up again soon. And if anyone
it'd been lovely, yeah.
Around in Penge on the 13th.
13th, yeah. 13th.
Don't let that be something to put you off.
Lucky for some.
Kim apparently hasn't actually finished writing it yet. I'm sure.
I'm going to today, okay?
Yeah. So we need
to hear those keys clicking already.
We need people to go and see to report back whether it actually got finished or whether
did she turn up?
Yeah.
Did she do the act?
I'm a ghost.
I'm ready.
Yes. No, Kim, it's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you.
All the best with the show, and we'll see you again very soon.
Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you soon.
See you later.
Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And it's goodbye to the wonderful, the lovely Kim Scopes there. I mean, she's obviously an enormously busy lady because she's moving house, but I mean, all those wonderful disciplines that, because you've worked firsthand with her. But again, someone who just in love with what they do, really inhabits in her case, lugging around heavy puppets and things. I mean, I actually didn't know, the details of some of that. As she was saying, she's strapped into things that weigh 80 odd kilos. I mean, wow, that's a heck of a performance.
The puppet, the Nana dog puppet, the lantern dog that she was talking about that she used, and the other guys used on Neverland, was I think roughly 20-25 kilos, which in itself is not a huge amount, but when you think they're using their body and they've got harnesses on to support that, and what else they're doing, to be able to take that weight, do it safely, but then completely create life or bring life to this inanimate object or collection of sort of bits that have been put together. And the skill, we've said it before, we've had puppeteers and other people that have worked with puppets before, the real true skill is when someone stops looking at you as a puppeteer. Like the only focus, you forget they're there if they're supposed to be forgotten, of course. Just watching Kim and the other girls were unbelievable. Really clever what they do, the movements. As you say, they inhabit these creatures, these not often creatures even, but these puppets. And yeah, very skillful. I've done a tiny bit of puppetry. You've done a fair bit more than me. But neither of us would claim to be anywhere near
nowhere near.
It takes a huge amount of practice and perfecting to get to the point where you are at this level. And Kim's ability is only matched with how lovely she is. So I feel
utterly lovely and charming. And also she's taking puppetry into the cabaret world and breaking new ground with stuff. It's fabulous. I mean, I would love to see some more of her, cabaret work.
Well, we'll have to try and go along, and we'll reiterate, if you happen to be around Friday the 13th of February, check out the details, look up Kim. We obviously provide links to Kim's work in the blurb, in the details of this episode. Please do go check it out. She is fabulously talented, and I'm sure it'll be a wonderful, enjoyable evening. Speaking of enjoyable, we've had an enjoyable day. But it's come to an end, mate, because, we've both got to wander off and do other things. But shall we enjoy another episode next week just without a brilliant puppeteer bringing life to it?
Yeah, but you mean no strings attached?
I mean, there are no other words. Enough. No more puns. Puns.
Sorry.
Or the
it doesn't count. It doesn't count because she's not a marionettist, which I didn't know was a word. So there you go.
there's still strings attached to other parts, just because it's not like that kind of puppetry.
That is true. That is
there
very
are strings
true.
to operate other things and poles
Yes.
and what have you. And yes, but anyway,
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to talk to you anymore. You've offended me with that shit pun.
Right,
So,
I'm going. I'm
yeah,
going.
here we
then.
go. I'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week, buddy. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Lovely
We'll see you
stuff.
next time. See you later.
Bye bye, everyone. Cheers.
Thanks again for watching this episode of Drewling Samantics.
Please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video.
Don't forget, we're also available as audio only. Just search Drewling Samantics in any good podcast app. And please support us on social media. All our links and handles are on screen now.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so why not share with your family and friends so they can join in too? Thanks very much. See you next time.